After a one-week vacation that included both the Libya revolution and Hurricane Irene, the president is back in Washington facing an even bigger set of challenges. How does he create jobs? How does he deal with the Republicans? Does he really have a problem with his base? And how can he address the larger issues like economic injustice in housing and unemployment? Well, joining me now to tackle those questions, former New York Times columnist Bob Herbert. He's now a distinguished senior fellow at the Demos think tank. Bob, thank you for joining me.
Great to see you.
Every Saturday I speak in Harlem for National Action Network rallies, and I used to read you every Saturday morning to know what I was going to speak about. So in talking big picture, you were the first person that I would think of, because you've been saying the vision, economic vision for jobs, we're not dealing with.
That's the biggest issue in this country. In fact, it's the great challenge of our time. We need to put Americans back to work. And all the other stuff, all the other problems facing this nation, including the long-term budget deficits, will not be solved if we can't figure out how to get Americans back working again.
How does he do that given the strong Republican inflexibility?
Well, I don't even think that's the primary, well, it's the primary, it may be the primary problem now, but I think the president's problem was that he missed the boat initially when he took office, when the economy was in such terrible straits. Everybody understood it, and that was the time to have the mega jobs program. That was when he should have hit it full force, should have brought in the public, the Republicans at the time, who I think, even though they were obstructionists, would have been reluctant to get in the face of a big push to put Americans back to work if the president had succeeded in getting the public behind them.
Now, a lot of us are organizing now to try to do that push, whether it's too late or not, but do you think there's a lot of talk about he's having problems in the base? Some of the people that are talking never did support him, so I suspect some of them. But there are some genuine concerns in the base. When he came to New York and spoke at our group, he says he knows that we were not the National Satisfaction Network. And he's right. People want to see jobs. But when we look at the polling, it seems that he is still very popular. African Americans, 83%, Democrats, 75%, liberals at 68%. But his turnout.
Here's the problem. He definitely has problems with his base. He has problems with labor. He has problems with young people who had been so strongly for him in 2008. And he has problems, even though the polls don't really show it, with African Americans. African Americans, many, feel that they've been neglected by the Obama administration. He still has very high approval ratings, but Obama is going to need approval ratings up in the lower to mid-90s. And as you point out, he's going to need a big turnout from African Americans and other solid supporters if he's going to win re-election. That is not a guarantee. And another point that I would make is, one of the problems I think the president faces is that people don't believe in him to the degree that they did before. They still like him for the most part. You know, they think Obama's a good man, and they admire him to some extent. But they don't think that he has been an effective president, and that's the sort of thing that. But
don't a lot of people also feel he's been unfairly treated? And
definitely, a lot of people feel he's been unfairly treated, and an awful lot of people think that the alternative to Obama would be disastrous. I mean, they do not want a Republican president elected. But there's the problem of enthusiasm. When you're talking about turnout, it's not just preference that matters. It's whether you feel strongly enough about the candidate to work for that candidate, to raise money for the candidate, to volunteer, and go to the polls.
I think he's helped by some of the people that are complaining the most are also more unpopular than him. Congress is lower than him. But I think that he's got to come with a bold speech and then tangible program around jobs.
You know, he may make a bold speech, but I would really be surprised if he does anything substantial about jobs. I've given up on the leaders in Washington, the president, the leaders of Congress. They are not going to effectively address this jobs issue. Jobs is still going to be a problem during the campaign next year.
Well, I think we're going to have to draw a line in the sand and make that the issue next year.
I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more.
We certainly going to do our part. Bob Herbert, thank you for joining us.
Great to see you, Reverend.
Glad to